and we'll be sending it out to you. So, networking like a rock star. Who doesn't want to be a rock star? Everybody wants to be a rock star. It is something that we aspire to, whether you're a rock star, a real life one, or I'm talking more along the lines of being a rock star in your industry, or being a rock star in your community, or being a rock star amongst your friends or your family. But being a rock star is a great place to be. And networking has its own version of networking like a rock star. So we want to teach you those and many more tips as we go through this series. And today's event is going to be really focused on when you're out networking. So some of you may be members of Team Referral Network, our organization. Many of you participating in our weekly meetings. There's probably a good portion of other people that are on the call or in the video conference who maybe have attended our events before. Or you may be just somebody who got invited by a friend to be here on the webinar today. But our particular Rockstar networking tips today are going to focus on when you are out networking at events. And those events can be anything from networking meetings to chamber mixers to business expos to your industry-specific events. We want to teach you the tips and the tools that you can utilize to network like a rock star at all of those events. So let's talk first about what to do at an event, before, during, and after. The before work in attending a networking event and being a rock star is often the overlooked part of networking like a rock star. We hear about an event, somebody told us about an event, we researched it online and saw that there was an event, and we go to this event, but we actually put very little planning and forethought into what we want to get in terms of results from those events. And I want to start from the very beginning of the before event time frame. You really should research the type of events your business will most benefit from. Most of us attend an event because somebody tells us to do it. And what I want to share with you is that that may not always be the right audience for your business. And so there are many, many, many different networking events out in any community across the United States and literally throughout the world. Your community has multiple events going on all of the time. And you want to really look at what's the best event, the most bang for your buck. And by buck, I don't mean necessarily the actual expense of attending an event, because most of the time that's the least amount involved with this. It's your time that is spent on it. So I have, for instance, a story to tell you. I was up in Salt Lake City a couple of years ago doing a presentation for about 75 business owners. And before the formal part of the presentation started, I had a chance to meet and greet and mingle with the attendees. And I happened to engage in a conversation with a man who was looking to build and grow his business. He was more of a startup, and he had a business that was very unique. And I'll try to be delicate in how I say this on the webinar, but he tested all types of bodily fluids for all types of things, whether it be from allergies to drug testing to pregnancy testing to, well, you know where I'm going with this, multiple types of medical testing, okay? And I specifically asked him, because it was such a unique business, I said, who are you hoping to connect with at this event? And this particular event had 75 or so people in there that were all small business owners and entrepreneurs for the most part. They looked very much like a team event would look like. There were printers and real estate agents and financial advisors and personal trainers and dentists. I mean, you get the picture. They were all different types of small business owners. And he said to me, I'm looking to connect with the owners of medical centers. You know, those medical groups that you belong to when you declare one on your health insurance, for instance, okay? And these medical groups are usually owned by a doctor or a group of doctors, or it might be a group of people, but they own the entire medical group or the center. There may be 100 doctors that work for them. There may be multiple people that they engage in to run their business. But these particular doctors are generally the ones that own the medical groups. And I looked around the room and I said, I don't see anybody here who might be a good match for you. And we weren't even just looking for doctors. We were looking for people who worked with those types of doctors. And in that room, there really were not an audience or a group of people that would even be a good referral partner or power partner for him. So I asked him, how did he decide to come to this particular meeting today, knowing that he was, here spending 2 hours at an event, which was going to be fun, and they was going to learn some information about networking because I was speaking, and he'd make probably some nice contacts, but he wasn't really going to be doing anything that would really build and grow his business. So I asked him, how did you find out about the event? And he said, oh, I'm here with a friend of mine who just, told me that I should be here, and I need to get out networking, so here I am. So it got me thinking, where would this guy be looking for the right type of event to attend? And I said to him, your right person is not here. Let's talk about where you might be able to find the right people. So my first thought was the American Medical Association's website, where they list all those great events that doctors attend, right? Whether it be symposiums or golf tournaments or mixers, conferences, those are the type of things you're going to find these doctors at. And are any of them open to the public, or is there a way for him to be invited or participate in these? Well, the light bulb went on for him, and he realized that although he was doing networking, he wasn't networking as a rock star would at the right place at the right time with the right group of people. So first thing you want to do before you go out and attend a networking event is to research your events and make sure that the right people are going to be in attendance. Second thing you need to do before you go to an event is to have a plan. Know what you want to accomplish before you go. Your plan will be most closely associated with what you need right now for your business, whether that's referrals for new clients, maybe you're looking to add to your staff or looking for a key salesperson, maybe you're looking just to meet some power partners and make some powerful connections. You know what you need for your business. How does that look when you put a plan together when you're going to an event? So know what you want to accomplish before you go. Then once you're going, I'm going to tell you that as you get there, one of the best things you can do is arrive early at an event. Sometimes that's hard, like living here in the LA area with traffic. Arriving early at an event takes some strategic planning throughout the day or evening. But I want to share with you that having the opportunity to get there beforehand and kind of get the lay of the land, maybe meet the key people who are putting on the event and have a discussion with them, can be very powerful for you during the event. When you arrive and the event itself starts getting going, you want to really find yourself introducing yourself to the most connected person in the room. And that most connected person in the room, like I said, might be the person putting on the event, might be the person who leads the organization, it might be somebody who just seems to have groups of people flocking around them. But that influential person is somebody that you want to get connected with, because you want to go and introduce yourself to them, and you're not going to be obnoxious or try to force your information upon them, but what you're going to do is ask for their help. The most connected person in the room loves helping other people attending events. Oftentimes at our Team Referral Network events, I might be that person, or our Team Referral Network franchise owners are that person when they're putting on an event, or our directors are that person when they're putting on an event. Trust me, if you come up to people like that who are the most connected person in the room and you say, hi, I'm so-and-so, I do such and such, and tonight I am looking to meet, and then you fill in your 1 or 2 or 3 power partners, potential clients, people you're looking to get connected with. If you specifically share the information of who you're looking to meet, that most connected person in the room will be your best friend the whole night, because they're going to meet that person and they're going to say, hey, I know so-and-so wants to meet someone like you, or is looking to connect to somebody who does your business. And they love doing this. This is what the most connected person in the room does. They love being able to introduce people. So make sure you connect with that important person and you let them know who you want to meet. And while you're at the event, you want to make sure that you are prepared and engaged in a way that leaves you memorable with the people that you're meeting at the event at that particular time. So how do you become engaging and how do you become memorable? I'm going to share a very bold statement with you right now. And that is, it's not about you. Does that make any of you laugh? It's not about you. One of the best ways to get effective results from your networking activities, to really be a rockstar networker, is to make it all about the person you're meeting. When you engage with somebody and you're meeting them for the first time and you ask them questions like, how did you get into your business? How long have you been doing it? Where do you do it? Who's your best client? When you engage with somebody and you really listen in an authentic way to what it is that they do, they remember you. They're like, wow, that's that really nice person I met at the event. A good listener can score many rockstar points in terms of networking, because your goal is to just begin the potential tip of a relationship at this initial networking event. You're not going to date, get married, and start doing business together all in a 3, 4, 5, 10-minute conversation at a networking event. You're just looking to create interest, right? So that you can continue that conversation at a later time. So asking them questions about their business, engaging with them in a way that leaves you memorable, and when the time comes for you to exit the conversation and you say, I loved talking to you, I'd love to continue this conversation, would it be okay if I contact you and we set up a Starbucks meeting or a phone meeting or a Zoom meeting in order to be able to continue this conversation and I can learn more about it? What do you think that person's going to say? They're going to say, yes, heck yes, absolutely. Here's my card. Okay, I'll look forward to hearing from you. And you're going to say, great, I'm going to call you on Monday and we'll keep going on this, okay? Have a great time at the event this evening. It was wonderful talking to you. You may not ever really share what you do with that person, but it gives you permission to follow up and the opportunity to take your relationship to that next stage, that next level, which I guarantee you'll have the opportunity to talk more about who you are and what you do, and they'll be in the mood to listen to you because you spent so much time listening to them. That makes you very memorable. So remember, it's not about you. It's hard for us humans sometimes to think about, but it's not about you. It's about them. Okay, one of the other things that you can do at the event is to make sure that you are only handing out your materials, your business cards, when somebody asks you for them. You know that classic smarmy networker that's constantly running around the room, shoving his card into people's hands and net vomiting all over them. I think if you've ever been out to networking events on any level, you've experienced this person in one way, shape, form, or another. Don't be that person. Don't be that person. Certainly if somebody asks you for a business card, nowadays a lot of people don't even carry their business cards around their contact, sharing their contact information from their phone, or they're snapping a picture of the contact information. But when you're asked for yours and you can ask for them, that's when you hand out, not indiscriminately. Do not be a card dealer or a card collector. I guarantee you that if you're a card dealer, which means you're handing your card out to everybody at a networking event, that 99.9% of your cards end up in the round file, the trash can. So be sure to not be indiscriminate about that. So we've done a little bit of our research before. We've made a plan. We know what we want to accomplish before we go in. We've arrived at the event. We've connected with the most connected person at the event. We've let them know who we want to meet. We've engaged with people. We've made it not about us, but all about them. We know how to hand out our collateral marketing materials. Now, what about after the event? The after work is actually where the actual work begins. Kind of everything we're doing up to this point has been fun. It's the more fun part about networking, but the actual work of following up is where sometimes we fall short. And if you're one of those people, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So here's your tip. Schedule your follow-up time for after the event before the event even takes place. So if the event is on a Wednesday afternoon, you will have already scheduled your follow-up for Thursday or Friday. And if you put it in the calendar, it gets done. My business coach and I have a saying, if it's in the calendar, it gets done. If it's not in the calendar, it's not getting done. And so this is something you want to make sure gets done. And your follow-up is not just random emails hoping that they follow back up with you. We kind of know that people nowadays get, hundreds of emails a day, some of us thousands of emails a day, and you don't want to be one that slips through the cracks. So oftentimes these days, it's actually that permission to follow up, doing an actual phone call, or at least if you are sending an email, they're expecting your email, and you have the chance to engage with them. And that's where you have the chance to turn around and say, I'd love to schedule some time together. And I think nowadays people are a little too busy to insinuate we can do lunch together, or, that we even physically need to meet. The easier thing might be on phone or going on a video conference. But certainly if you're nearby and there's a Starbucks, or a Coffee Bean or a little local coffee shop where you say, hey, that's just down the street from you. Can I buy you a cup of coffee and we can grab 15, 20 minutes together? People are far more inclined to spend a few minutes with you than in making a commitment for a lunch or a, longer period of time. A lot of people say, can I come by your office and take an hour of your time? And I know unless you really know and like this person, you're probably not going to want to give an hour's worth of your time to them. It's just the way it is nowadays. So be sure your follow-up is appropriate for the connection that you made. And bottom line, make sure you do the follow-up. All right, let's talk a little bit about how to stand out in the crowd. Some of you might be in some of the more common industries that are out there in this world of networking events. There's a few 100,000 real estate agents out there, and insurance people out there, and mortgage people, and financial services, and all of us have gone to networking events like, say, a chamber event or a large-scale business expo, and there easily could be 10, 20, 100 people who do pretty much the same thing that we do. And so it's how to make yourself stand out in a crowd that is important at these events in order, again, to leave yourself memorable, but how to stand out. So I've seen everything from crazy stuff, like wearing crazy clothes, wearing a hat, something that's memorable. Some people have very memorable business cards. Other people have I've seen them with name tags on that have done crazy things. You really have to figure out something that fits with your personality. But I'm going to go back to one of the things I was talking about before on what to do during your networking at the event. So you stand out oftentimes in a crowd being the one not selling or pitching your services. You really stand out in the crowd when you genuinely and authentically listen to answers that you've asked of other people there. When you make people feel important, and it's got to be from a space and place in your heart that's truly authentic. When you make people feel important, you do stand out in a crowd that way, and definitely much more so in a networking environment, because while other people are around selling, pitching, trying to get the last word in, over talking people, cramming their collateral marketing materials into people's hands, you stand out by being the one who kind of takes the step back in terms of your personality and your presence, and really spends the time getting to know people and make connections. So be sure you stand out in a crowd, but figure the best way out. And I love all those other ideas, wearing something fun, or, getting something that's noticed, or getting people to ask you questions about things. But you really have to determine what works for you and best for your personality. But get creative, tie your brand in whenever possible, and get yourself noticed. Advantages of being an introvert. If I asked all of you out there listening to the webinar today, how many of you are shy, okay? How many of you don't feel comfortable speaking? It is definitely a majority of people. There will be a lot of people who would raise their hand and say, this just, scares me to pieces. Public speaking, we know, is still the #1 fear in the United States today. Number 2 is death. Number 3 is fire. If many of you have heard me speak, I share people would rather die in a fire than have to publicly speak. Well, the same thing kind of holds true when you're out networking. Because you're an introvert. You don't feel comfortable with crowds. And I have a lot of people ask me, if I'm an introvert, can I be an effective networker? And I say, not only can you be an effective networker, you can be a rock star networker, even if you are an introvert or have introvert tendencies. An introvert has the ability to hold court. And by hold court, I mean they'll come to you. If you get to the event early, make sure that you have connected with the most connected person in the room, and you let them know, I'm going to be standing over against that wall on the left side of the room, and if you meet anybody that I'm wanting to meet, if you could send them my way, I would appreciate it. And what happens is you're standing over in your position, so to speak, and you're all the way usually towards the back of the event, so people will come to you, okay? And you start gathering a group of people. Guess what happens? Other people want to know, why is that person gathering so many people? They must be somebody I need to meet. And you will find that people will flock to you. You can hold court and have people come to you. But don't forget, you've got to deploy the tactic of the most connected person in the room, knowing who you want to meet. And then you tell other people as they come over, say, you ask them who they are looking to meet. You tell them who you are looking to meet. And the next thing you know, the people who came to meet you are bringing people to meet you. You see how that can work if you're an introvert. If you are, like me, an extrovert, you love working the room. You couldn't park me in one place at a networking event for all the money in the world. I'm just not wired that way. I need to go out and meet people and touch people. I mean, shake hands and say hello and get them meeting the other people. But I can tell you, I'm one of those people that will absolutely meet people and take them over to the introvert to introduce them to them, because I know that's who they're looking for. So whether you're an extrovert or an introvert, you can still network like a rock star. You just have to have the tactic down, know exactly what you want to accomplish, and make sure that you connect with the right connectors. Why it's important to have a strategy going in. See, oftentimes with our networking activities, we confuse activity for results. I have a lot of people that I know professionally that are networkers. I mean, they're great networkers in terms of they are out. They're doing 3, 4, 7, 8, 10 events a week, and they're just always out there. And you've probably seen these people on social media and their postings. You know people like this. They're always out there networking. But I don't want you to confuse activity for results. Because oftentimes I know that these people who are out there networking are not getting the results they want to grow their business or make the connections that they're looking to make. You actually need to tie your ROI, return on investment, your results, to the time and money and effort it took for you to be at these events. And if you're not getting networking ROI, okay, you're not doing it right. And having a strategy back to knowing exactly the results that you want to achieve from an event, making sure you're going to the right event, making sure what you want to get out of that event, what you want to accomplish before you go, making sure you're deploying the actual tactics that will get you those results while you're at the event, making sure that you do the proper follow-up afterwards. All is a strategy to make sure that you are getting the right results from your networking activity. And don't forget, the right results are not sales, and I'm going to touch on that here in just a minute. The right results are you're looking for the opportunity to start building relationships. When people know you, like you, and trust you is when they are going to refer you business, and that relationship building will take time. So this strategy that you're looking to deploy and networking like a rock star at events means you're not looking for sales, but you're looking to build relationships. And you're looking for what we call in Team Referral Network, power partners. those people who are related to your business. They don't do directly what you do, but they are related to your business. When you build relationships with the right power partners, you have an endless source of referrals. And that's who you look to meet when you're out networking at these types of events. The most important thing that almost everyone gets wrong. Does everybody want to know what it is? Honest to God, I see this every single networking event I go to. And that is, they come to an event to sell. Now, there's been times where I've spoke to hundreds of people in a room, and I've oftentimes done a little quick question for them, especially if I'm out at a chamber event, okay? I'll ask the group of people in the room. It doesn't matter whether there's 25 people or 100 people or more. I'll ask the people in the room, okay, how many of you came to the event today hoping to sell something? And literally almost the entire room will raise their hand because they think, well, I'm out here networking. Of course I'm hoping for a sale. And then I'll turn around and ask the question, okay, how many of you came to the event today looking to buy something? And of course, the obvious disconnect is nobody raises their hand. You got a bunch of sellers and no buyers in the room, and then people say networking doesn't work. And that's because networking is absolutely not about selling. They get it wrong almost every time. It's not selling. Networking is where you're looking to make connections, where you are, it's just the beginning of the tip of starting new relationships. And when you build the right relationships, it equals referrals, which then equals growth for your company, for your business. But going out to sell at networking events is going to be a very frustrating experience if that's what you do. So we want you to stop selling, stop shoving cards into people's hands, and learn to participate in a way where you are learning more and making authentic connections with people in the room. If you want to be a networking rock star, you have to act like one. There we go. So I hope these tips have been good for you. I'm wondering if we have some questions in chat that we need to be doing. And my MP is giving me the no. But now is the time. If you want to ask questions, we can open it up for a little Q&A here. What I really want you to think about in terms of networking like a rock star is not only all the tips that we've shared here today, but I want to make sure that you understand the purpose of this, okay? And the purpose of these webinars. I've worked with literally thousands, tens of thousands of entrepreneurs over the years that I've been doing the work that I do. And the single greatest mistake that people make in their networking is, like I said, confusing activity for results and not listening to people. So when you turn into a networking rock star, I want you to really measure the shift in terms of what you're getting out of your networking activities. So be prepared to have a major shift in terms of your relationships and the referral opportunities that will come from deploying these tactics. When we say if you want to be a networking rock star, you have to act like one, that's what we mean. All right. I am at the end of mine. We have a little bit of, oh, there's some chats there. Okay, Karen is saying hi, and Mary is saying it's 1:30 here, so she's done with lunch. I love Christine net vomiting, and she's laughing at that. Looks like Rod agrees. And Darlene does too. You guys are great. Okay. Well, I hope you've enjoyed Networking Like a Rock Star, Network Like a Rock Star, and our first webinar in what we hope to be a series of brown bag lunch and learn webinars. I want to let everyone know that it's been terrific. Hold on, I've got MP in here. I'll be right back. Okay, so Darlene has a question, how to bow out gracefully from a conversation. There it is. Okay, I see that, Darlene. Great question. I use I have to go to the ladies' room. I'm serious. It works very well for a woman to say she has to go to the ladies' room. I don't know how a man feels about saying he has to go to the men's room. But the other very easy way to bow out of a conversation at a networking event where it really is either time or you just want to get out of it, okay, is that you want to let the person know that you're mindful of their time. You are absolutely sure that they want to make as many connections as possible. So you are going to let them go in order to move on to the next person they'd like to speak with. So you're basically giving them permission to go and be engaged with somebody else, okay? So that's the, I like Rod's, he has to pick up his kid. But then if you don't leave, we don't know what to do. So I see some other questions popping up here and my screen is now going crazy. How about asking if they know anyone else, maybe getting them to introduce you to somebody else and you can move on to a conversation with them, Victor? Maybe that's what you're saying. That would be great. This is fun. And that was Victor with the thumbs up. Excellent. Okay. All right, guys, we're going to have to cut it off here. It's been the first and a really fun time. I thank you for your time. We'll be in touch with you with the recording, and we will also be in touch with you about future Brown Bag Lunch and Learn webinars here with me and invited guests, by the way. I think our next webinar series episode will have Stacey O'Byrne, best-selling author, sales and leadership trainer, and team franchise owner, and myself doing an interview. So look for that to be coming out next month. And you guys have been awesome. I will see you out there at the networking events.